hypothesis that mass and energy are but different manifestations of the same thing, a somewhat unfamiliar conception for the average mind. Furthermore, the equation E is equal mc squared, in which energy is thought equal to mass multiplied with the square of the velocity of light, showed that very small amount of mass may be converted into a very large amount of energy, and vice versa. The mass and energy were in fact equivalent, according to the formula mentioned above.
Hey guys, I'm Jack from Phantasma Paranormal. It's good to have you back here again. This is something I've been dying to talk about because I was more sort of trying to narrow it down a little bit more, get a more sort of rounded idea, doing sort of my own research as well, to give you guys more sort of more of not a concrete answer, but more of a concrete theory and speculation which I have on what happens with life after death. Many people believe in the aspect or the idea of a heaven that we go on, our consciousness goes on, maybe even similar to even Star Wars with the Jedi, with Force ghosts, that we can have our consciousness and our physical bodies that we had in life, and our consciousness can freely exist after we die, and we can have some form of an afterlife. Is that true? Well, who knows? I mean, probably only Master Yoda can give us that answer. But the Force and Star Wars, as you guys know, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, but it really got me thinking. Could that be used in some sort of speculative sense? But the thing is, the aspect of an afterlife or our consciousness going on after death is something which has been tested and is still being tested right now. There's been studies done that show that our consciousness does go on for a certain amount of time after we die, whether that's for several minutes, several hours, or it goes on indefinitely, or it runs out over time. We just don't know at this point how long consciousness does go on for, but it does after we are clinically dead. But I find that really, 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 really interesting, that there is more science to this. As I feel with the paranormal, you have to approach things from more of a scientific, rational, skeptical aspect, because when it comes to spirituality and religion has got very little evidence behind it to support it, whereas I have to go by science and I have to go what is true, what can be tested, and so on. But science can't explain everything in the paranormal, and I understand that. But many people do believe in the idea of an afterlife, and there's a lot of people who are absolutely petrified of dying. I know many people who are very scared of death. Me personally, I'm not, and it's mostly down to this speculation which I have on what happens to us after we're gone. Like I said, it is a theory, it is just speculation, it's just more of a general idea. But I do want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. I look forward to hearing them, and I've been looking forward to sharing this with you. So talking about the idea of consciousness and us going on after we die, after we're clinically pronounced dead, that our consciousness does in fact go on, but we don't know exactly how much time that goes on for. There was a really interesting interview which I watched by Sam Parina. I think I've said his name right, but there's a clip that I just want to show you from that interview, which I think will shed a bit more light than what I can share, because as you guys know, I'm not too great at talking, I'm a much better writer, but I'm just going to show you that clip. You'll find this really damn interesting, so here you go.
We can study what people experience when they've gone beyond death, and the evidence so far suggests that that entity we call the human mind, consciousness, what the Greeks called the psyche that was later translated into the soul, the me, Sam, does not become annihilated just after a person has died, even if we write them a death note and certify them as being dead. That entity continues, and it continues even when the brain does not seem to be functioning, raising the question that consciousness may be a separate entity from the brain. It's not magical, it's just not discovered yet, but it doesn't die. Now, I can't tell you what happens 3 hours, 4 hours, 10 hours after a person has died. I can't tell you whether consciousness gradually fades away and disappears into thin air, as some people might believe, or does it continue for ever longer periods of time.
So many on YouTube, in the scientific community, and in spirituality talk about the idea of energy and that our soul, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, is energy. But here's the thing, when it comes to simple physics and Einstein's studies and Einstein's theories of relativity, conversion and such, when it comes to energy, everything around us is technically energy, some form of energy. Even the energy which is inside our bodies. We have enough energy within inside our bodies to make a 100-watt electric light bulb light up. Even like the molecules, the cells, the electrical impulses which go through our brains for our bodies to create something happening, like my arms moving, me blinking, me talking, that there's energy firing off inside my brain all the time. But then Einstein, as far as I know, Einstein didn't believe in an afterlife or didn't believe in ghosts. From everything I've read and everything I've researched about this particular subject and video, which I'm bringing to you now. But when it comes to more sort of scientific standpoint and with the science and with the answers which it's the scientific community is slowly getting, it's been really interesting to think about this theory. And when I think about consciousness, I think it's the fact that people have such a fear of death because we can't imagine our consciousness just not existing. It's like, well, what do you think? Do you think we'll be conscious after we die? And then some will go, well, do you remember, like, were you conscious before you were born? So it might just be that you may not even be aware of it. But when it comes to the laws of conversion, Einstein's laws of conversion, that our energy, that we do have energy within our bodies, energies within our brains, whether that makes up the consciousness itself, the fact that we're aware, you're watching me on YouTube right now, and that energy cannot be created and or destroyed, but it can be converted. And so when that leads me into the idea of consciousness and life after death, would I like to believe in the idea that I may see my dad again, or I may meet up with other family members, or maybe just people like celebrities and such that I've admired? I don't know. I would like to believe something like that, but when it comes, I feel like my mind has to be based more in science. And I do talk about this in my new book, which I've got coming out, hopefully by the end of this year, I'm hoping. It makes me wonder, if our bodies are energy, and our brains, or maybe our consciousness could be energy itself, maybe it's all connected. Now, when we die, if our energy cannot be created and or destroyed, if it can be converted, what will it be converted to? Will it simply be converted out to the universe? Will I just exist out in the universe in some sort of form? And then maybe there's, energy all around us. Well, everything around us is energy, and everything has a certain frequency. So maybe will I be conscious if I just turn into energy and I'm recycled in some way, and I'll just exist in the universe, in the ether somewhere, and I'll just, in a way, again, Star Wars, just mold into the Force. Will I be conscious that I am energy? I don't know. I may be conscious, or I may not be conscious. But in a way, that's actually the thing which has sort of taken away my fear of death quite a lot. That if our energy can only be converted in some way, if it can't be destroyed, it makes me think, what sort of energy will our bodies or our consciousness go through? I find it a really interesting thing. I might go on a very incredible journey, and that's really interesting for me to think about. The only thing is, like I've said, we don't know the answers. I mean, some people come to me after nearly 5 years of doing this, that I may have the answers just because of what I do, but unfortunately I don't. Like I said, I'm not a scientist. I can only speculate and theorize, but I do find this really interesting regardless. For all I know, I could be wrong, and the Huff and the Hopes, they could be right, or vice versa. Who knows? But I just find that this idea of energy, that we may exist out in the universe somewhere, or we may be converted in ways that our brains cannot fully comprehend, because we won't know till we actually pop our clogs and we die, we expire. Or maybe it will be the case of that our consciousness does go on and we become, in a way, sort of like ghosts, Force ghosts in a way, a little bit like maybe in relation to Star Wars. So it may be as simple as that. Who knows? But anyway, that's just a short little video. I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe this might give you something to think about, but this is just my sort of a little bit of theory and speculation as to what can happen to our consciousness / energy when we die. I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments section. I'll hear from you soon, and I will be back with a new video very soon. And I hope you guys stay well, take care, and I'll keep you guys updated when a new video is coming out. Thank you very much. I'll say goodbye.